Hey, what's going on, guys? So today we're talking about the best-selling cards under $5 less. The Yu-Gi-Oh! Penny Stock Market Watch. Let's jump as fast as we possibly can right into it. Not a lot of changes here at the top. Um, we do see the Ishizu stuff is sort of like scaling down. I've talked briefly about decks that these cards work in other than like tier elements, because there actually are a lot of Earth Fairies. Not a lot, but there are a good amount of Earth Fairies wandering around in the format, and so these cards also synergize really well with like um, just any graveyard based deck. Which, if you haven't noticed, every archetype is really a graveyard-based archetype. Like Sky Strikers could probably run a Shizu. Black Dusted Soldier kind of could even run a Shizu. I don't know if there's another archetype here. Dragon Link, we just saw Chaos Base. That could run a Shizu. So, tier elements will probably get hit at some point. Hopefully soon, but maybe not. But a Shizu probably won't, because that's usually how it goes. Like, if an archetype is really powerful, usually Konami and the TCG will hit the older part of the archetype first. So just be on the lookout. The Ishizu stuff could skyrocket up even after tier elements gets hit, because it is a really powerful engine, for relatively cheap, as well. So that's just something to keep in mind. I mean, look at these three cards. I mean, I know there's another card. There's a couple other cards, obviously, that you need to pick up, and they're a little bit more expensive, but I do legitimately think these three Shiju cards are a really solid buy right now. Now, getting back to Chaos Space. Chaos Space, I believe, is the best selling card under $5 from this set, which is interesting. You can take a look actually at this set real quick, just to see what penny stocks lurk in Battles of Legends Crystal's Revenge. Looking at the set list, I don't really love the set list, right? Access Code Starlight's pretty cool. Exodia Starlights are pretty cool, right? Obviously those aren't penny stocks though, so we're not going to talk about them. That's why when I'm looking at um just overall Yu-Gi-Oh! $5 or less, I like to look at the best selling, because those are the cards that have the most amount of movement. But when I look at sets specifically, I like to look at high to low. That way I can just scoot all the way down here, find um, you know, F-Zero Utopic Draco Future, find that that's the first card under $5, and go, okay, every card I'm going to see from here on out is going to be a penny stock, right? Because penny stocks, even though the name is a bit of a misnomer, because it would imply that it's cards that cost pennies. Unfortunately, in today's market, those are really hard to come by. And honestly, it really doesn't have a lot to do with inflation. I know inflation has kind of hit Yu-Gi-Oh! A little bit, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Has always been a relatively expensive game where you have to spend anywhere from $200 to $400 for a relatively competitive deck, and usually the most competitive deck is anywhere from $500 to $600, and a max rarity deck is going to cost you $1,000. So there really has never truly been penny stocks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the point I'm trying to get at. This one is interesting. All face-up monsters become machine. You can banish this card from your graveyard, discard a card, add an Earth Machine. Okay. Um, So this is obviously support for the Infitrack Machina deck. I don't hate this card, but I don't really think it's a great buy. Um, I just wanted to take a look at it. I don't really personally think it's a great buy. It is teetering on the $5 mark, and the thing is, Earth Machine. And you guys can let me know in the comments down below. Do you love Earth Machine or not? I really don't see a lot of people playing it. It does every now and again make an appearance here, there, everywhere, but I usually just don't see people playing it. It's a very solid like rogue strategy. I don't know if it's really tier 2 anymore. It can get stuff done if you know the combos really well. You can surprise some people if they don't know the combos. And I do think this is legitimate support for it. I don't know if you run 2 or 3, or even if you run this card at all. So I don't think it's the greatest buy, but I don't think it's so super duper terrible. Now, this is interesting. I think we've already gotten this card, right? There's so much Toon support. I'm losing track. Yes, we have already gotten Toon Bookmark. Have we gotten this? We have also already gotten this card, too. Okay. Um, if you control Toon World, reveal 3 Toon monsters. Your opponent randomly picks one to special summon, ignoring its conditions. That's fun. Does it get rid of the summoning sickness? Because that would be better. That's better than ignoring this. Because the older cards, the older Toon cards, just to give you an example, the older Toon cards like Toon Mermaid, I'm pretty sure Toon Mermaid needs to tribute to summon itself out. Oh no, this has that summoning conditions too. You hate to see it. So the ignoring the summoning conditions is cool. This as long as Toons have summoning sickness, like I actually just don't think Toons need summoning sickness anymore. And for those who don't know what summoning sickness is, because you've only played Yu-Gi-Oh, I mean it's pretty obvious. That's not a misnomer. Like the turn it's summoned, it can't attack. For some reason, I mean when the Toons first came out, that made sense. For that to have that restriction at Toon World or card specific states it. But now it does kind of feel like even if the Toons could attack directly, like they're obviously not going to attack the first turn. Like we don't change that. If they could just attack the turn they're summoned, and a lot of them can now, so that's cool. Like they started to drift away from that, but there are still some that don't. I believe this one can. Most of the newer ones can. Yeah. This is not a bad card. But there are still really good, like the older cards are still really solid, like Toon Gemini Elf. Um, there's another one that name is escaping me. All right, I guess we're going on the Toon train for right now. Um, not Toon Cannon Soldier. Toon Cannon Soldier is crazy. And there's a lot of Toon cards. Jeez, I just searched Toon, right? Okay, I was just making sure. Um, Toon Mermaid has the summoning sickness situation. Um, Mass Sorcerer. Mass Sorcerer can't attack, turn, and summon. It's actually a pretty solid card, though, because it can draw a card. And again, you card advantage. Then Toon Gemini discards a card. And there's like this little control thing that you can do with Toons. But they still take too long. The other route that you can go, I see a lot of people go, is Spam, because Dark Magician can summon more cards out. Then you have the Red Eyes Black version of the Blackstone of Legend that like tributes itself, I think, to summon a Red Eyes Black Dragon. I think that's what Toons look like now. As last time I checked, that's what Toons look like. I don't know if Toons have changed since then. Um, it's not fast enough to spam. I do think like the control based version, because Toon Kingdom's a really good control card. Um, I think that's the route to take. But I still think that the summoning sickness for the older cards is still a big issue. Um, but maybe I'm wrong. Um, I will say this though, we just took a look at them. They're always going to be good in value. Like these, like Dark Magician, Blue Eyes, Elemental Heroes. You know, that's the first card you think of. That's the first archetypes you think of when you think of fan favorite archetypes. That regardless of whether or not the decks are good, regardless if they're competitive, regardless if they are expensive, not expensive, they're going to be worth something. Like all because there's just so many fans for the archetype, and Toon is like that too. Toon is, I still personally think, and it's gotten better because of sets like this that reprint cards like these, because these are two pretty solid cards for the Toon archetype. Um, I still think though that Toons are one of the worst decks in terms of cost of deck to caliber of deck, right? Like Sword Soul, other than Baron to Floor, you can get Sword Soul for like $50. You can get a 10 Sword Soul deck without Baron for $50. And if you already have a Baron, you're good. And if you need a Baron, it's like $110 for Baron, right? That's a pretty solid like cost of deck to quality of deck ratio. Toon is insane. Like, if we just look, like I said, I guess we're going down the Toon rabbit hole, which is fine. This is an archetype I'd like to feature, and I haven't really featured on this channel before. And I really, really like Toons. Toons are one of my favorite archetypes of all time. But this is another thing too, when it comes to Toons, like finding the right deck core on eBay. Like, this one's okay. It has no Mimicat though. Mimikat's a really good card. This is not good. That's not very good. This is not Magical Stone Excavation, Toon Briefcase. This is a 249 card. This is $250, excuse me. I don't even know if it's good. I don't know if I want to look at all the cards. So we got full extra deck with like Giant Hand in it. Castel is in it. I mean, Tornado Dragon, Abyss Dweller, Bagooska is cool. Only one Blackluster Soldier, one Dark Magician, one Dark Magician Girl, only one Harpy Lady. Blue Eyes Toon is not that good, once again, because of the Summoning Sickness. You'd like to run 3 of these, 2 or 3 of these. At the very least, 2 of all of them, 3 of these, because it's a free summon. I don't know what Eater of Millions is doing in this archetype. And like 1 Mimicat, you gotta run 3 Mimicat. Mimikat's insane. Comic Hand is really good too. Toon Rollback is straight. Shadow Toon. None of the cards we were just looking at. And yeah, the eBay has been known from time to time to put, full decks on eBay that aren't very valuable. Like, they don't really have the value in them. But, like, even just this core, this 15 card core from Battles of Legends, and we were just looking at the card. This is probably not that bad. Like, they were saying, like, this is, if you go over to it, if we go back to it, right? This is a $3 card. This is another $3 card, so that's 18. And then Blackluster Soldier, like I said, it's a really solid. It's got a really decent effect. It's got 3k attack that can banish a card and attack directly. It does target, but you're at least running 2 of these, right? So we're talking 16 plus the 18 just for 8 cards. Which, if I'm good at math, that's $34. And you haven't bought into Kingdoms, into Table of Contents, and the thing with Toon Table of Contents, that card randomly slips into the meta. It has a lot of reprints now, but it does randomly slip into the meta, and everybody wants to get a hold of it, and they're all bought out and gone. So that card is Toon Table of Contents. Last time I remember seeing it, and it doesn't have any stupid degenerate combo that it's a part of now. But because this card's not a hard once per turn, like, it's holding the line at $1, and there's 3, 6, 9 versions of it, including one that hasn't even came out yet. And they're all holding the line at $1 because it is a really solid card because it's not a hard once per turn, and it's a really good archetype. So, to make a short story long, are these good buys? Yes, they're good buys because Toons always will be worth something. They are a fan favorite archetype. People love paying for Toons, even if it's a terrible archetype. People still just love playing it, and they'll spend the $250, right? Or they'll spend the $34 on these cards here, right? And if we make this a play set, it's actually $42 for a play set of this, and Blackluster Soldier. From these versions of it too. But I do think that if you're able to get a play set for, like I said, $42, there's a definite possibility that in like 6 months to a year, it's worth $50, if not more. It's just how Toons work. It's a pretty solid bet, but I will say it's not that great of an archetype, so it's not going to be super fun to play with. It is fun to mess around with the deck, right? But it's not really fun to play with because it's not very good. Just keeping it honest. And I could see it going up in value. Like I always say, though, spend your money how you feel. Just the thing that I've seen with Toons. They usually go up in value. I like the artwork on this one. That's funny. Um, this is an interesting reprint. How many reprints does this card have? 3? My guess is 3. 2. Interesting. This is a weird card. Um, it randomly sees play in what should be fairly obvious decks, right? The Zombie Swarm, Shiranui, um, Zombie dot deck, basically. There's a really good card for it. This is a really good reprint. I think this is, yeah, this is a relatively solid buy. I do think that this is going to be floating around for a while. It's a secret rare though, and because it's $1, I'd assume it's a secret rare that's been pulled a lot. I'd assume so. Yeah. But it could still definitely maintain, if not gain, in its value. I really like that. More Doodle Beast cards. Um, is the Doodle Beast archetype good? Or is it an archetype? Alright, now I gotta look. Now I'm just absolutely curious as to how many Doodle Beast cards there are. So there's only 2, so it's not really an archetype. These advanced crystal cards came out as well. Um, kind of beating a dead horse here, but like Crystal Beast, similar to Tunes, very popular archetype. I would consider getting a playset of these. One, because Crystal Beast is actually a relatively solid deck right now. Because it does run D-Shifter relatively well. But two, and more importantly, it is a fan favorite archetype. Is the Crystal Beast guys. Um, yeah. Um, odds are these won't be messed around with too much. Does this have the same effect as regular Pegasus? It does. They all have this restriction too. Yeah. I think they could be worth value only because we've all been there where we've been at locals talking about random things, right? And then that person that usually sitting at table 500 randomly chimes up and says, "Well, I think that this randomly bad archetype is actually really good." And Crystal Beast is one of those archetypes now, right? I could see someone go, "Oh, I run the advanced Crystal Beast stuff and advanced dark and it's so good in my deck and you guys have no idea how good it is." And so for that person, right, they could buy. Because that's the thing. If let's say you buy these 3 cards, right? Super, 50 cents each. It's not a major investment. It's $5 for a playset, right? For all 3 of them, right? Let's say they all go up to $1. They're still not worth anything yet. Cards are only worth what you can sell them for, right? Even if you go online and see that it's worth $7 and people are buying it at $7, some people even buying it at $8. If you can't find anybody that buys it at $7, you're not going to sell it, right? So just be on the lookout, be on the wary for this. The artwork looks really cool, right? And that in and of itself might be a reason why people get it. I've heard a lot about this archetype too, Plunder Patrol. Is it good? I don't know. Okay, that's enough. That's enough of this. That's enough of this set. That's enough of this set for now. As far as Chaos Space, we actually hadn't even talked about Chaos Space yet. Because Chaos Space is the highest selling card under $5 for this set. Now, if we look at the original version is actually also, it's weird, it also came out in a tune. It also came out with tunes the first time. That's kind of funny. Um, yeah, that's funny. Um, and then it got a reprint at the same time. That's funny. But anyway, as far as whether or not this is a good buy, I think it's a great buy. This card's not going anywhere. It's not going to hit on the ban list. And the archetype, the main archetype you probably think of when you think of this card, Dragon Link, it's not going anywhere. I know Dragon Link isn't like as good as it used to be, but it could still do some really crazy combos. Hermetic Seal just got a reprint as well. It was somewhere around these parts. So I think this is a legitimately great buy. Um, this is such a fantastic card for the archetype, and the reprint is really good too. Now, which one do I think will be worth more as time goes on? we do see, even though this is the higher rarity, we do see usually the older version is the more expensive version. But like I said, higher rarity, and also it's cheaper right now. And the thing is too, usually when a set is first released, um, it'll have more listings. A card will have more listings than its older version, right? Like for example, Harpy's Feather Duster's not the best one. This one, Ice Dragon's Prison, right? Magnificent Mavens just came out. We actually have talked about this card a couple of times already, so I don't want to dive too deep into it now. But if we look, the tins have 204, but the first one's got 77. This one has 80, right? So this one, even just by a little bit, is still beating it. Let's see if we can find a better example, kind of what I'm talking about. Just super quick, we'll go with Appaloosa. This is Appaloosa, right? Yeah. So with Appaloosa, the one from Magnificent Version's got 104. See, this is what I'm talking about. So this one's got 104. This one's got 94. This one's got 83. There's another one. I don't know where it's at. There's a gold reprinting because this has been, the alternate arts came out twice. I don't know why I can't see the other artwork. But anyway, you understand what I'm trying to say. And there's a Starlight Rare too, I think. But anyway, you understand what I'm trying to get at. So I think it is a little interesting when we look at Chaos Space. Not only are there less listings of their newer version, but there's significantly less listings, and it's still cheaper. So I actually think that this version, the one that just came out, might actually already be a better buy. And if we take a look, it actually, realistically, it's already like $3.98, $4. And we look at this one's sitting at around the same price. I would just get the newer version because it isn't a rarity upgrade, and it does appear like this Chaos Space is breaking that rule that I just talked about of like older version of cards usually equal the more expensive version of cards. Here's Clockwork Knight. Then we were just talking about that card. Change of Heart still doing its thing, goes in match. We've talked about a lot of these cards already, which is why I was a little okay with going deeper into the Toon archetype and into the Battles of Legends Crystal Revenge archetype, which I actually think there's a lot of good stuff here. As far as whether or not it's a great set, listen, I just got done talking about if you can sell it, then it's worth what it says it's worth online. If you pull one of these, you're gonna sell it. I promise you, if you buy a box for, the head is $400. That's 300. Anyway, if you buy a box for 60, which is insane value actually on a box in general, and you pull not one of the Starlights, but you pull even access code Starlight Rare, but you pull one of these pieces, as far as lottery tickets are concerned, is really good. After though, there isn't an insane amount of value. But if you can pull some Toon cards, you could pull maybe one of these. You might be in a good spot. If you need cards like Access Code Talker, Borrowload Salvage Dragon, if you need, Fusion Destinies and Chaos Spaces, then maybe, right? Maybe invest in this set. But as we go further and further down, it does get pretty sketch. Hey, Salomon Great Circle. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know in those comments down below. What cards under $5 are you looking at? Let me know by typing that in the comments down below. Make sure you guys click that like button to show your support for the channel. Subscribe for even more content. But most importantly of all, have a good day.